In this video, I'll go over 20 examples of footprints in films involving Sasquatch in Indiana. I spent the past several months scouring the internet, searching for any kind of information. This is the most credible evidence that I found. I don't include the Connersville ghillie suit photo, or anything else that's totally fake, but I will start off with the evidence that's least compelling. The first footprint on this list is one from Vernon, Indiana, in 2012. Imagine it was probably from Crosley if I am to guess. Unfortunately, there is no provided size reference, and the image quality is very low. The only positives are that it looks large and has toes. I decided to change the color and try to make this look a little more visible, with limited success. Ultimately, it deserves to be at the bottom of this list. The next footprint that we will be looking at is one from the coolest living Sasquatch media personality, Cliff Barrickman. This print was cast in April 2018 in Owen Putnam State Forest. It only measures 4 inches, but it makes up for it with its strange shape. It doesn't appear to be from a bear or any kind of other animal present in Indiana. For number 3, we'll go ahead and cover the most recently reported 2 footprints from Indiana. They also happen to be the farthest north that any evidence on this list will get. These 2 tracks were found at Mounds State Park at Grizzly Chris in April 2025. Estimated the impressions to both be about 15 inches long, based on the size of the key fob that was set next to each. I'm concerned that these simply may be normal depressions in the dirt, which can be caused by a range of factors, like animals digging holes or water runoff. Now we reverse and go to the also alleged track on this list, the Andy Keith print that was found near Shoals in August of 1979. The strange-looking print measures 15 inches long and appears to have a very pronounced big toe. Something that led to the discovery of this track is also a mixed bag, like the cast. Some details are accurate compared to other sightings, like the creature being described with a foul smell and broad shoulders. Others are inconsistent, like having shorter arms. I need more information on this sighting to determine its validity. Another old school footprint is this one from late October of 1982 in Vincennes, Indiana. Unfortunately, I can't determine much due to the angle of the photo, but it does appear as you'd expect, wide with a human-like shape. Vincennes also had a bit of a sighting spree from the 70s to the mid-80s, adding to this print's credibility. The 6th print on this list was featured on Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot and was found this summer of 2011. Based on the map provided by the show, the sighting appears to have taken place right around Yalewood Forestry. Unfortunately, this print only measured 12 inches. Another series that contains footprint casts from Indiana is Small Town Monsters. The 7th episode of Heartland Sasquatch features 2 alleged tracks that were found next to each other during August 2024 in Morgan-Monroe State Forest. I can't determine the size of either. I don't think either looks impressive, but the larger of the 2 might have toe indentations. For number 8, 2 possible impressions were found on the shore of Batoka Lake in February 2021 by a person that we'll call Cletus because he wants to be anonymous. It's nothing great. You can see that the track he photographed is deep in the ground, and also make out it looks like toes. Finally, we're getting into some better footprints. In May 2020, near Panther Ridge, this possible print was found in the woods. It measures 13 inches with 3 visible toes. I do think it resembles a bear print. I guess the size is far too large. You can tell that something did in fact step in the mud. Some of the leaves that around it are sunken in, other than looking like they were dug out for a hoax. This next footprint is the 2nd largest measured footprint I've seen from Indiana, at 16 inches in length. It was found by a Sasquatch enthusiast named Jeremy in May 2022, near Hillham. Jeremy would sometimes hear what sounded like wood knocks on his property, but he didn't think much of it until he stumbled upon this, on the edge of his pond. One Bubba Mike 1, a hiking channel on YouTube, came across this footprint while hiking Clifty Falls in March 2021. Of course, there's no size reference, but I'm intrigued by this being found in a colder month. Mike did say it looked like it was larger than 12 inches when I asked him. The next print was found in October 2022, near Norman, Indiana. The impression looks pretty respectable, with all the details you'd expect, and it's 14 inches. It still could be a person walking in some mud, but it does look pretty good. Here we have the largest measured footprint that I've seen from Indiana, at 17 inches, located at Lick Creek Trailhead in September 2013. The print is kinda hard to make out, but you can clearly see toes. I also want to address a mistake I made in my last video. I said I had a possible second encounter at Lick Creek Trailhead, but it was actually Young's Creek. They are both very similar horse trails located near Paoli, so it was a relatively easy mistake to make. Another footprint that Cletus stumbled upon was this, in June 2020, near Harrison Crawford State Forest. I say this is easily the most defined print I've seen from Indiana, as it was fresh in the mud. Unfortunately, no measurements were taken, as he left the area pretty fast due to being freaked out. Cletus did say it was probably around 15 inches long, and I think it is oddly shaped compared to the average human foot. The first large set of tracks I'll be including is these snow impressions, found in Jackson County in 2013. I never want to fully trust snow tracks, This melting snow can easily distort impressions, but the massive distance between each stride is genuinely weird. A rabbit or a canine could leave a wide gap while hopping through the snow, but this looks way further than expected. I just wish I had more context for this photo. This next trackway was found near the Brookville Lake Dam in August 2023. Their prints are tiny with a relatively small stride, but the dirt around them is clearly dried up, meaning that this would have taken days or weeks to hoax. You could say this is just some weird kid walking around barefoot through the mud at some point, but even then that sounds unusual. The final set of footprints I'll include is perhaps the strangest. In December 2023, the Squatch Howard, Indiana team found a massive line of footprints in a dried water body outside of Bloomington. Each print was average size at 12 inches, but the stride between each could barely be replicated by a 6-foot-tall person. While you could just blame people and other animals on most tracks on this list, I really don't know how to explain this one easily without stride. For the first photo on this list, we have this blob that is also from Jeremy. I know it's not impressive, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Basically, Jeremy saw what he thought was an oddly gray-colored bush, and then started running as he snapped the photo. For so many Sasquatch stories like this, people first thought they were staring at inanimate objects. This occurred in November of 2021. 3 months later, in August, between English and Tazewell, this trail cam photo was taken. This is the last piece of evidence that Cletus sent to me. It's also probably his best. Cletus, who stands at 5'10", stood in the same spot as the creature in this photo. We can determine that the creature is about 7'5" in height by comparing their locations. I guess being 7'5" prevents us from being a bear standing on its hind legs, or an escaped animal like a horse. I'll end this list with yet another piece of trail camera evidence. This video was taken near Scottsburg, Indiana, in the summer of 2023. You can see a humanoid swing its arms back and forth. If you look closer, the arms do look pretty long. I'm not going to rule this out as a costume, but this does seem like a lot of work for less than 1,000 views. So that's it for the best evidence I've been able to find, but I know for certain there's a lot more still out there. Indiana is believed to only represent about 1.5% of total Sasquatch reports, so I can only imagine what kind of information you can find through an in-depth analysis of other states, like Ohio or Florida. Anyways, check out my Indiana Sasquatch map that can be found on my channel posts. Currently included are more than 300 sightings I consider to be reasonable based on the consistencies and details. If you personally know of more Indiana sightings that you think should be added, feel free to reach out, as I keep everything respectful and anonymous, so you're free of criticism.